What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the right side of campus. It's Saturday, uh, November 25th, 2017. I'm your host, the big man on campus, tuning in here live to chat about the Saturday card. Hopefully, give out a couple more winners here, and we can get it popping today. So, I welcome you all. It's Saturday. Plenty of you are involved with football, but the action is in basketball today. We'll look to keep it going today off of a 3-0 day here. San Diego State gets the job done. Alabama earlier in the day gets the job done. And UNC Greensboro hits by a half a point. Nice little hook there. We'll take it. Little shenanigans late in that game. Probably should have been a 2 or 4 point game, not necessarily a 6. But we'll take it nonetheless. It cashes just the same. Doesn't really matter if we win by half or we win by 30. Cash still comes in. So let's get into it here. Do urge you hit the like button for me. I see one fuckhead hit the dislike button, but hey, sucks to be jealous, doesn't it? But what are you going to do? I thank you all that hit the like button already. Please do it if you haven't. Plenty of people already in here, and I welcome you all. So I thank you. Let's shout out a couple people here. Stephen Webb, you were first. Welcome. Cameron, Dale04, Maxwell Smart, Drake Roland, Cody AV, Corey Jean, YYC Golfer, Anthony Icolano, welcome in. Reggie, Carlos Escalante Jr., welcome in. P. White, Damo Italiano, Salty Dog, Johnny Fiorenza, Russell, Rod S., George Young, James Stacy, all you guys, welcome in. Robert Abbott, Matt Agnoli, Chris James, Jay, Robert Abbott, Joe, Chris Kolonik, welcome. I appreciate all the kind words, guys. I can't always respond back, but many of you know that all that fine stuff I appreciate. I thank all of you for recognizing the run we're on in college, and I can only hope it continues. But I'm feeling good with this. It's you never want to get too high on yourself, but when you put in a ton of time like I do, it's definitely nice to see the results. And it's nice to help people cash as well. And that's kind of the big thing here. Many of you know I have been a tout. I actually still am in college football. I've had a couple tough weeks, but I've offered the free selections to everyone, and it's really paid dividends. So I hope all of you are learning how to bet better. And again, many of you know I have been a tout. So it's tough for me, because this is all like I feel like I should be charging for this stuff. But again, for me, there's two kind of touts, and there's the tout that really just does it to make a quick buck, and he doesn't really care much about the games that he gives out. It's just like, oh well, I'll just blame it on the athletes or the coach or something. But then there's people like me and Donnie and Ian Cameron, guys like that for me, charging was always just because I felt like I worked really tough and hard on this stuff, and I felt like it was almost like a service I was providing. But, I'm doing it regardless, and it's been nice to share the winners with everyone. And I appreciate all the kind words. Where's Donnie? Not sure. He's doing his own thing. This is just my show. Donnie's got a little day off. Are you gonna have Mick Alsey on? No way. Mick Alsey's Gabe's friend. I just know him from him coming on the shows there. Close on the name. What was wrong with it? Icolano? That's what it looks like to me. Icolano. Sounds pretty straightforward. But for the year, I am 43-14, up 27.5 units. Now keep in mind that's in about a 3-week period. And look, the concern I have is at some point people are going to start saying that my record is bullshit, and that'll happen. But I think we've all built up that it is very for real. 75%, I'll take it over a course of about 60 plays, 57 to be exact. So we got a long way to go, people. So we'll keep firing. Yeah, I'm not getting into the Iron Bowl. I've given up my predictions plenty of times. You can check out my shows on SBR. This is a college basketball show here. I've discussed the Iron Bowl at length. I don't have any real hard opinion on it. Um, but but yeah, this card today is tough. There's not a lot of great games out there. There's a handful that I'm interested in. What I'll do here is I'll get those out of the way, and then we'll get into some questions. I don't know how long I'll be on today, probably about 30, 40 minutes here. But I urge you, tell your friends about me. If you think they would benefit from my shows, please tell them. If you happen to be, friends with someone that loves basketball, even send them over. I like to kind of, teach other people, how they can bet smarter. But how about that game last night between Gonzaga and Florida? What a game that was. Duke ended up coming back, getting the job done. So that was nice. If you had a Texas, my apologies to you. Definitely a tough beat there. But you have a couple good games today. You got Alabama and Minnesota will be a real good game. Yeah, you have a couple here. Cupboard's bare though for high level games. So basically, here's how this works. If you're new to the show, basically I'm going to give out my plays of the day, my best bets. Those are the games that I'm moving on, and then I'll give out my my leans and analysis on other games. Yeah, I know, Caleb, but you know how people are. People like to hate on me. There was a guy stealing my picks the other day. He was giving him out as his own. So, I do understand that there are guys out there that will do that, but what are you going to do? Thanks, Malcolm. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into them. First game I'm going to go with today. I'm going to go with Northern Kentucky. I'm going to go with them here. Let me see what the line is right now. When I looked at it, it was Pick'em. Yeah, I'm going to go with Northern Kentucky at a Pick'em. You can find that at betonline.com. Pick'em minus 117. So a little juice, but actually, I'll tell you what. We'll go with Intertops, actually. I have an Intertops book. We'll go Intertops, pick minus 110 here with the Norse. Really like this spot for them. This is in the FedEx Forum, so it's not a home game, but this is kind of a border war kind of game. Kentucky, Tennessee. And look, this Memphis team is struggling under Tubby Smith. They had a mass exodus last year of players leave their program. Lawson brothers left. They've had guys just come and go from this program, unfortunately, and it's really left the cupboard pretty bare with this group. They really have a lot of guys that, you really kind of haven't heard of. Memphis over the years set up a real good program. Back in the days of Josh Pastner and, all those players they had. But this is a shell on Tubby Smith's team that's kind of a shell of what they once were. They're a team that will struggle all year in the American Conference. And, the big thing with them is they don't have a ton of scoring options, really. They're limited as far as offensive capabilities. And you look at it in this game, Tubby Smith runs that, ball pressure defense, and you have to be able to shoot over it. And I think Northern Kentucky can do that. They have a good point guard in Levon Holland. They have an option down low with Drew McDonald, a kid that can definitely score out of basket. Scoring shouldn't be a problem for Northern Kentucky. The concern I have is how will Memphis score? Because they struggled this year to score the basketball. And, they definitely like to shoot, they get to the foul line, get their points from there. This NKU team does a great job of not fouling you in the front court. So, you also look at Northern Kentucky. I mean, quite the season so far. I'm real high on this Norse team. I've said that. I really like what they did last year under John Brennan. They've already beaten some real good basketball teams. Beat Iona by double digits. Probably should have beat Vermont. They ended up covering that game. We had them in that game, plus the 5 last Sunday, and they're relaxed and rested. They've had a couple, basically almost a week off here. So the concern early could be a little rust, but I think they'll be ready to get back to it. And I think they'll want to be able to, this Memphis program has been storied over the last 10 years as a really pretty high level basketball program. So for me, I like it. I like the spot, and I'm going to go with NKU here against the Memphis Tigers. You can get a pick'em on this one. So that's going to be my first play. And actually, it's funny, as we speak here on Twitter, I mentioned Greensboro plus 6.5. Some some Nimrod responds back and says, I didn't see 6.5 anywhere. Well, Danny Boyce, maybe you need to look a little bit fucking harder, idiot. But yeah, so let's go with NKU today. I really like this spot. Just a pick 'em. All I got to do is win, and we'll take that one to the bank. I thought Indian Cowboy was tailing you, but it was just random. Indian Cowboy's a good guy. Hopefully, we get him on the show sometime soon. I've known him for a good amount of time. Good guy. Matt in Cleveland, what's up? Tough loss by the Vandals. What are you going to do? It was just a lean I gave out. Coach Cal had Memphis humming. Back in the day, sure. That was many years ago, though. Where else we at here? Big man, your leans are doing fine as well. Yeah, they have been, but I'm not counting them. I remember on Gabe's show last night, we gave out Ryder second half. I think I liked him on the show as well. That came in. But, yeah, guys, one thing I will point out, I don't usually give picks right in the first 5 minutes because I am waiting for people to get in here. So I don't have to repeat myself 10,000 times. What's up, big man? Hey, what's up, man? Kid Bay Brooklyn, good to see you in here. Haven't seen you for a while. Hoping you're doing well. And to all the longtime listeners I've had, welcome in. Yeah, I'll get to questions when we get to that. So the first play tonight, we're going to go with Northern Kentucky. All right. See you later. See you later, Danny boys. I should have got some water before I started the show here. I always forget something. Let's go to the next pick here. I'm only going to have 2 picks today, guys. I got to tell you, I really don't like this card a whole lot. There's not a lot of value, really. I'm going to go with what I think is a really good basketball team here, and I'm going to kind of fade the public in a way. I've seen a lot of other cappers and other people on this game, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with Minnesota today. I'm going to lay the points here with the Golden Gophers. I think we're kind of witnessing a really good basketball team here. You can actually get 4 right now at 5 dimes at minus 108. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go Minnesota minus 4. I'm going to lay it here. And there are a lot of things that you look for when you're handicapping college basketball. A lot of it is, for me, like schematic and how will the team play against the other team defensively and offensively. But then you look at the little things, and you look at some of the little things, for me, what makes Minnesota such a good basketball team. First of all, can they rebound the basketball? Yes. Can Alabama rebound the basketball? Not really. I think Minnesota is going to have a field day on the rebounding in this game. Lynch and Murphy are fantastic down low. Reggie Lynch is possibly the best defender in the country at the rim. He's really, really good. And Murphy just really compliments him. Then you look at the guard play with Mason and Amir Coffey. Just really impressive. Michael Hurt coming off the bench. Michael Hurt, by the way, a brother, is a top 40 recruit. So that's a good family bloodline there. That's a good recruiting job by Pitino. Konate, Fitzgerald off the bench. Isaiah Washington, just a really good team. They're well coached. They do the little things. And the concern for me also in this game is, I like Alabama, but they're a young team. Colin Sexton's a freshman. Even their coach, Avery Johnson, young coach. You got a lot of young players here that maybe aren't ready for this. This is a Minnesota team full of seniors, chucked with a good group that have played together for a long time. You're in a spot here on a neutral court where, you're kind of out of your element. You don't have this is literally right in the middle of the Iron Bowl. The care of for fans in this game, you're really just going to have your family there. This is definitely just a game for me where I want to go with the more cohesive team to me, the team that I trust a lot more. I think Minnesota is going to cover a lot of tickets this year because they have blowout potential. They rebound the basketball at a high level, and they can shoot foul shots. Alabama's shooting 57% from the line. It's not good enough. It just isn't. And you look at what Minnesota's already done. Beat Providence, by 12. Beat UMass by 18, beat a pretty solid Niagara team. This is a team that really I think is kind of on cruise control into the final game here, and I think they're going to get the job done. I don't think 4 is many. I don't think it's crazy to ask for. I think this game will be similar to the San Diego State game last night, where I think Minnesota is just a better team. Late in the game, they'll pull away, win by 7+, and I think their rebounding is really going to be a problem in this game, because you look at Alabama. If Dante Hall goes out, it's going to be real tough for the Crimson Tide here on the road. I like back in Alabama at home in front of their fans. And I know yesterday people will say, well, you bet against them on the road, but BYU is a fade team for me. I mentioned that a couple of days ago on the roundtable. I think BYU is a fade group. So for me, they did enough. They were to get the job done. But this is a different animal here. I'm looking at Alabama at home. That's my spot for them. That's where I like them. In this game, I just think Minnesota is just going to be too strong. It'll be a good battle, though, between Sexton and Ingram against Coffey and Nate Mason. It'll be fun, but I think veteranship will prevail here. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Golden Gophers -4 as my other play today. And by the way, guys, I will open up more games, but I just don't really like this card too much. I'll get into some games that were close to me, but for some reason, I'm off of them. Do you see Creighton scoring anything less than 90 this afternoon? I wouldn't think. I mean, they should be able to put on an offensive explosion today against the Cougars of Edwardsville. SIU Edwardsville is pretty poor. I mean, they're among some of the worst teams in the country. I mean, you look at what they've done against quality opponents. I mean, they got murdered by Purdue. They got murdered by Valpo. Shouldn't be any reason Creighton doesn't do the same today. But you're getting up to those numbers where it's really about how bad Creighton wants to cover this game or not. So for me, I don't really have much on that game, but I would lean Creighton. Thank you. I like it too. I'm a big Eagle fan. One thing I do want to do today, though, is move that Big E picture over just a little bit so my head's not covering it. I meant to do that. Free Meek Mill. Amen. Big man on campus, class act. What comes around goes around, and this is a brilliant idea on your part. It will come back to you in spades and various words. You're doing something different. Thank you, Gary. You've been very helpful as far as support. As far as record keeping, we can all vouch for you. Exactly. That's the total point here. Let me get back up here a little bit. Any thoughts on UNLV game? Yeah, they were real close to me being a play tonight. And the number's actually going down a little bit. It's down to 23.5 at Bookmaker. We're starting to get to the point for UNLV where we might have to move on this one later. I'm going to come back to this. So if I were you, I'd follow me on Twitter, get a notification. I probably will maybe move on this game. We'll see. I really just want to see where this line goes, because when you're up 24.5, it gets there pretty high. I don't see any reason UNLV. Here's the thing. UNLV will put up 100 points in this game. That's not going to be an issue, because Southern Utah University runs – they're very transition reliant. They want to run quick. They don't play a whole lot of defense. They're a lot like Citadel, except – better, slightly better defensively. But they really don't have any other offense to run. That's just what they do. And look, Brandon McCoy is going to have a fucking field day in this game. UNLV will roll. They're going to be up big in this game. The question is, how long will it take them to get going? And that's what you have to worry about. But they could pull away at any point here. Southern Utah is terrible. I'm going to just see if we can get this line to go down a little bit more. If it goes down to 22-ish, I'll probably get on it. As long as it doesn't go up to 25, I'm going to probably get on this game. It's just not till 10 p.m., so I don't think there's any big rush to get on this game. But they're going to put up a ton of points in this game. How about your Sun Devils? Yeah, they looked great yesterday. Trey Holder was fantastic. They're building something down there in Sun Devil world. They're in a tough conference, but Arizona's looked poor. Oregon's looked poor. USC's had some trouble at times. UCLA has major problems. This could be a big year for Arizona State. Really could. They might be a future you want to maybe take a little shot with. I know I'm going to on Monday. They're a team that with that 4 guard lineup they have and Romello Roy, I mean, they're really good. They're well coached. Hurley never takes the foot off the gas. That's a big win. Yes, they put up 100 points on Xavier. That's impressive. Team don't do that very often. Thank you, Big E. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on UTA Niagara? Um, Yeah. By the way, shout out to Billy Batts. I don't know if Billy Batts is listening, but an interesting friend of mine on Twitter, interesting follow. He basically has the Billy Batts from Goodfellas picture as his picture. He's a funny guy, funny follower. He's always trying to pull scams out, but he's very sarcastic when he talks to me. It's kind of just jokes. He's a funny follow. But yeah, UTA Niagara. UTA struggled last night a little bit against Western Carolina before really pulling away and putting the Catamounts out of their misery, which is another lean given out by the big men on campus last night. Western Carolina, hung around, but got blitzed. Yeah, look, we all know I like Texas Arlington, but you wonder, will the Niagara guards give them a little trouble? Problem is, Eric Neal and Hervey are unstoppable right now. I'm going to see where the line goes a little bit. I think this game starts pretty soon, though, if I'm correct. No, I'm not. No, it doesn't start pretty soon. I think it starts, I think 6 or 7. Um, By the way, going forward, guys, if you do not send the game number in, I will not cover it. You have to send the game number in, or I'm not covering it. There's too many games for me to look through here. All right, 6.5, 7. Yeah, they should get the job done. I'm going to look more into it, though. I want to see. For whatever I want to say, I want to say Khalil Dukes was injured for Niagara, but I got to see. Furman Northeastern, no opinion. That game's about to kick off anyway. I don't have actually. It should have already kicked off. No opinion on it. Do I like Georgetown today? I'm not really sure what to expect from Patrick Ewing's club. They've played nobody so far. So as far as it's interesting because Patrick Ewing literally took John Thompson's playbook and said, "We're not going to play anyone in the first couple weeks of the season," and that's one thing John Thompson was notorious for. He never played anyone in the first couple of games of the season. And look, it's a smart idea. I like this way of coaching a little bit more, especially when you have a new team. You don't want to go real crazy. You look at Long Beach State last year. They did that, and they had like 12 ranked opponents in their first couple games, and they were blitzed. I mean, you can't do that. You can't run your team into the ground that quick. And they've eased into it. They've beaten Jacksonville, Mount St. Mary's, and Maryland Eastern Shore. You got wins in all of them, easy wins in all of them. You give your team a little confidence going into a game against Richmond, a game in which I gotta like them a little bit in. They have a ton of size. Their athleticism is key here. And look, Richmond is a team that struggled this year. But I just don't think we have much of a blueprint on Georgetown just yet for me to warrant making a bet on them. So I like what Ewing's done, but again, in a game like this, it just doesn't offer us much here at all. What do you think of Charleston, Anchorage? Listen, I can't say I've ever seen Anchorage play, so I don't have any opinion on them. But I mean, Charleston has some injuries right now. Riller, Brantley, but they shouldn't have any problem with Anchorage. Line looks real low. So for me, I don't have much on it. No opinion on Valpo over. No interest there. They play slow, and that's when you're betting it over, not what you want. Because if they can establish their tempo, they're going to establish. You're playing a 50-50 game there. It could work. It could not. But if UNC Wilmington could play their game and turn them over, it's going to be a high-scoring game. You're playing with fire. Both teams lost pieces last year. I have zero interest in Valpo, UNC Wilmington. Where are we at here? Yep, Alabama's not a good foul shooting team. We mentioned that. Already talked about Niagara. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mr. Gox. Appreciate it. Would you consider buying points in college basketball? No. Why would you buy points? You can just find the number you want. So, for instance, if I have a number at 6 and it's not out there, I'll wait on it. If I can't, then I'll have to play it at that number. It depends. For me though, like at 2 or less, I usually play the money line. It really is just game to game. But no, I don't. I don't really understand why you'd buy points. Is there a magic number in basketball? I don't think there is. Um, any official picks? Johnny, I don't understand Johnny Kicknuts. I mean, do you ever get on the show at the start? You're gonna have to wait to the end when I recap them. What number are you happy laying with UNLV? Um, you'll have to wait. I don't know. Under 25, probably. I don't have a messy picture yet. I might put one up, but I mean, this it looks good with 2 pictures. Southern Utah's trash. Yes, they are. Very much so. Pac-12 is wide open. Yes, it is wide open. Hurley brothers can coach. Yep, so can the father. I got nothing on Pacific, Texas State. I like Damon Stoudemire's group there. I think they're going to get better as the year goes on. Texas State is a team that struggles to score. Maybe the under, but I don't have an opinion on it. Now James Willis is calling people fat because I didn't like his games. Yeah, well, you better get control of your fucking. See you later. First of all, why is your son, who's supposed to be little, calling people fuckers? Uh, Not that good. But John, you've said some stupid bullshit a lot lately. So see you later. Um, because I didn't go over the game he wanted, he gets all pissy. And by the way, I don't care if you call me fat. By the way, just because um, I'm losing weight and making myself better, and I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I bet my girl looks better than yours, though. So that's all that matters. Um, where are we at here? Providence, BC. Um, BC's always they're a tough team to gauge in football and basketball. They really are, BC. I mean, I never have a read on them. They're the same team, seemingly always. Um, and I mean, they've had some trouble lately. You beat LaSalle and then you struggle against Cornell. How long will Providence be able to shoot this well? Um, there's just too many question marks here. Still no Emmett Holt for Providence. So, at some point, Providence is not going to shoot the ball as well as they have been. So, no opinion. John, he's a big boy because he's eating in college basketball. Exactly. John wants to call people names, and now he's going to have to deal with the big old block button. As far as Penn, yeah, I actually have Penn written down here. The only thing that's keeping me off Penn is the line move. There was a huge pull to Penn this morning. Monmouth actually was a 2-point favorite. Actually, they were as much as a 3-point favorite, and now Princeton's a 2.5-point favorite. So, a lot of it has to do with, for if anyone's not kept up with Monmouth's basketball program, they lost a ton last year, and just recently, Micah Seaborn, their best player, was basically shut down as far as he's got an injury, and ever since he's left this team, their offense has been non-existent. They can't score right now. They're having a ton of trouble, and I like Penn, but you're laying, a road dog that a lot of people seem to like here. I like them. I think Brodeur will give them a ton of problems down low. That's something that Mama's going to struggle with all year is A, lack of offense, and B, front court problems. I think Penn will get the job done, but at the line, if I could have get 2.5 overnight, I probably should have moved on it, but the lines moved significantly, so it's a pass. Yeah, it was a great game, Florida Gonzaga. Um, yeah, Maxwell, I'm not on. Okay, you're asking someone else. My bad. Yeah, you bet Valpo every game. That's not a good idea. I wouldn't do that every game. But good luck. How much do you weigh? Probably like 285 at this point. So I've lost weight. So I'm feeling good about it. Um, What do I think of Messi's new contract? I mean, he wasn't leaving Barcelona. Who's going to pay for him? Um, Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. Who's your all-time favorite college player? That's a good question. I was thinking about this the other day. Probably JJ Redick. I mean, he's such an awesome shooter. I mean, he was one of the better basketball players I've ever seen. Jimmer that was pretty amazing. Um, Mostly white players, really. I mean, even back in the day, Dan Dickow, uh, Jahlil Okafor was a great player. Um, there's actually a couple guys this year I really like, but probably JJ Redick. I mean, just because when I was younger and kind of coming up, he was really relevant at Duke. So I was a big Frank Kaminsky fan, really, honestly. I respected the 4-year thing. I thought he was a dominant player for the most part. I love big man. Who cares what he looks like? I think people are just messing around. But again, as far as looks, I mean, I can pull finer fucking girls than most of these fucking losers on here that have nothing better to do. Um, how good do you think Len Bias would have been? Uh, Probably really good. There's so many players though that have died or just fell off. I mean, there was so many kids back, when LeBron was coming up that thought they were too good, or they jumped right to college, from college to high school to the NBA that failed. There were so many of those guys. I remember when Dewan Wagner was when it was in Camden. Then he went to St. Joe's. I mean, or to Memphis. I thought Dewan Wagner was an unbelievable player. I mean, he was like killing everybody. But high school is a little different than high level college or the pros. I got nothing on Maryland. No interest in New Mexico. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I'm not talking Auburn, Alabama. Sorry, I talked about it enough. Yeah, I'm on Southern Miss. Good, they're up 7-0. Great. Uh, mm, mm, mm. No, there were a ton of great or basketball players from Philadelphia. Sure, totally right with that. Many of them were before my time, but the great Will Chamberlain, comes to mind. Um, so many. Flip Murray, Rasheed Wallace, Aaron McKee. I mean, Lynn Greer, Hank Gathers, Ramon Moore, Scoop Jardine. I mean, always so many over the years. A lot of them were before my time, like I said, but you know, Mark Macon at Temple. I mean, he came up in the city. Uh, yeah, ton of good ones. Kid named Rashid Bey back in the day. He played at St. Joe's. He was from Philadelphia. Great guard. Um, yeah, a ton of them. All right, what else do we have here? About the yep, Lyle Simmons, sure. Favorite basketball movie? Um, Favorite basketball movie? Probably Hoosiers, just because it's a great movie. But uh, Coach Carter's pretty good, actually. That's a true story too. I like that movie. I mean, all the one he got game, all those they're good too. There's actually a really good movie. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but it's more of a comedy, but it's a good movie, like basketball wise. Eddie, has anyone seen Eddie? Whoopi Goldberg's in it. It's really good. It's about the NBA, but it's a good movie. A lot of good cameos in it. If you've seen Eddie, let me know. And if you haven't, you should watch it. It's funny. Do you think Joe Gavassi's a good handicapper? Yeah, I do. I like his breakdowns a lot. He's one of the people at SBI I respect a lot. Yeah, I do like Joe Gavassi. Yeah, I've watched Hoop Dreams. It's an older movie though. Pooh Richardson. Pooh Richardson's actually it's interesting you bring Pooh Richardson up. He's an interesting character in Philadelphia because he was a great player. He played in the league for many years, but he actually was recently, and it was actually a really interesting story. Pooh Richardson was involved basically in um, some some drug dealing, basically, and his sister basically was dating a guy named Alton Coles. Alton Coles was a high level drug dealer in Southwest Philadelphia. He was one of the biggest in the city at the time. He was making, he was doing these stop the violence rallies. He was basically the biggest drug dealer in the city. He was a kingpin, basically. And Pooh Richardson's sister was basically dating him. So Pooh Richardson got involved basically through, um, basically he was friends with a cop, and the cop alerted Pooh Richardson that Ace Capone, which Alton Coles was the guy, the drug dealer, he basically told Asia Richardson, Pooh's half sister, that there was a raid coming, basically, and Pooh Richardson was involved in that, and he got kind of caught up in it. His the cop was convicted and later sentenced, but yeah, he was involved with that. It was kind of a weird story, but he was involved with that many years ago. But then he ended up flipping and testifying against the cop, so he ended up getting out of it. But yeah, Pooh Richardson was a great player, but he had some off the court problems that started because of his sister's um, involvement with Alton Coles. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting story. Have you ever been to a Final Four game? No. Um, yes, Eddie. Yeah, she coaches Whoopi Goldberg. They take her out of the stands and she starts coaching, and she's really good actually. It's a great movie. Yeah, Coach Carter's real good. Space Jam's good. Air Bud's pretty good. Good call. Um, Yeah, I think Maryland will beat New Mexico, but I'm not interested. Jay, you have a weird way of just talking about every game that I have no interest in. Sorry, man. Um, Joe Gavassi goes to my dentist here in Vegas. No shit. Small world, huh? Uh, yeah, it's a good movie, Eddie. It's tough to find, but it's a good one. Um, how did SBR find you? Can you talk about how you came to start working at SBR? Yeah, I about 3.5 years ago, I was handicapping games, just like I do now, and I had a podcast of my own with my friend Ryan, and we were doing it, but it wasn't. It was just kind of something we did as for fun, just to talk about sports and betting and stuff. And we were trying to grow it. And I was getting a couple hundred listeners, but it wasn't anything huge. And I had a friend named Brandon Shively that's in the business, and he actually works at Covers now. And he got me. I said to him, hey, can he was doing videos with Peter, and I said, hey, are they looking for any other handicappers? I want to get my name out there a little bit. He's like, well, let me get an email for you. So I emailed Loshak, and initially he said no. They said they weren't looking for anyone, and then I just kept kind of getting at him, asking him, hey, can I get on this year? Can I get on this year? And they gave me a shot 3 years ago to go do videos. I just did a couple a week, kind of like Gavassi does now, and I just kind of went from there, and I just kept kind of doing more shows. They put me on the Odds Couple with Brenner. I did a couple shows with Mike Brenner, also with Peter. Then I started doing just more and more. Started to do the Roundtable. That kind of blew up. I actually hosted the Roundtable last year. Then Donnie came aboard. We started our own shows. It all started my own show from the Saturday shows that I do, the basketball shows that will be starting here pretty soon at SBR. So, just kind of matriculated. Now here I am basically. Um, Virginia plays some of the best man-to-man defense. Yeah, it's pack line, but yeah, they're very good defensively. That's what they do. Hey, Guan, what's up, man? No, I have nothing on Bakersfield, Central Michigan. What's a good way to start capping better? What do you do to help you get an edge? I don't really do anything to get an edge. I just try to find games that are mismatches to me, or ones that I think teams will have trouble with. Um, Florida Gulf Coast. I'm still looking at that one. They don't. There's a lot of things Florida Gulf Coast does that I don't particularly like, so I'm gonna look more into that. Um, Other than that, guys, I think we're good to go. Looks like we got some. Looks like we got some trolls in here, so we'll have to block those guys and get them out of here. But yeah, I got nothing on Murray State. Yeah, Jay, you remember Spreaker back in the day on Spreaker. That's a good point. Jay's been around for a while. He remembers those shows. So yeah, that's it. So today I'm going to go with Northern Kentucky at a pick'em, and I'm going to go with Minnesota -4 against Alabama. So those are the two picks for me today. Hopefully we can go 2-0 and keep it going here. Up 27.5 units here. So we're really on fire. Hopefully that can continue. Maybe with a 2-0 night tonight. So looks fun and looks exciting. Everyone have a great night. If you're interested, I will be on with Drew Martin at 5 o'clock on SBR Forum. We'll be talking the college football night card. We'll be going over some stuff there, and going over some games that we like. And I'm sure we'll talk a little more college hoops as well. So yeah, join me there, and we'll have some fun. Everyone have a great night, and we'll see you at 5. Bye-bye.